I have people from next year, I have someone.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with Quinton Beastwood, who was pretty clear after the worst experience that he had, working with one of the biggest names in the coaching industry, Matt Jensen, that he probably won't be working with any other coach again, other than maybe Dorian Hamilton, who not only is his former coach, but a good friend as well. And that was his stance, even after placing second at Toronto Pro this year, where Quinton himself acknowledged that it was actually Dorian Hamilton who helped him in the final few days leading into that show, who helped him in the peak week. Now this hasn't been officially confirmed by Quinton, but the coach Abdullah appeared on the recent episode of the Menace podcast with Dennis James, and he claimed that he's going to be working with Quinton Beastwood in the future, possibly for next year.
I have people from next year, I have someone like Quinton, someone.
Oh, you work with Quinton now?
Yeah, soon, very soon.
Yeah, okay.
And all the guys in that panel believe that Quinton has the goods to be Miss Olympia one day. And the reason is his height, plus his unbelievable aesthetics and his insane genetics. The way this guy is put up together, that is so damn impressive. So if Quinton actually does go with Abdullah, it is a great move, because Abdullah's work with Brandon Carey, that speaks for itself. Because who would have thought a guy who was placing dead last in 2016 will become an Arnold Classic champion as well as Miss Olympia champion in just a matter of 3 years. And keep in mind, Brandon also worked with a coach like George Farrell, but the success that he had with Abdullah, that was absolutely historical. So Quinton has the goods to come in shredded and really peeled. He has great skin texture. The glutes are always righted. All he needs is more size, especially on his quads. And every single guy who has ever traveled to Kuwait, starting from Big Robbie, Roelly, Winklaar, Nathan, Brandon, they have put on great size. So that will be a very exciting move if this actually happens. So the biggest advantage that Quinton has over some of these other guys is his age. The guy is still very young and he has all the time in the world. And I'm sure he has a great future ahead of him if he's able to pack on some serious size, even for 2025. So what do you guys think about this combo, Abdullah and Quinton? Next up, we have a current physique update of James Hollinghead. So he's still being coached by Stefan, and at one time after this year's Arnold, James himself said that he isn't coachable, but him working with his current coach Stefan, that has been going extremely well.
On the last podcast, I asked James if he was uncoachable. And he said, he said to me, I think I am.
Yeah.
But it seems you've been working with Stefan for a while, and your progress seems pretty insane, man.
Yeah, but you know what it is? Because Stefan's very flexible and kind of lets me be a little bit like we were just discussing.
So he is above 295 pounds right now in his recent updates, training really hard and really heavy, and having fun with a flexible eating plan. Plus, James is pretty clear that he won't be starting a diet unless he is absolutely sure that he has put on some solid mass, some extra muscle this time. So ideally speaking, he needs bigger rounder delts to create more width on the stage. And that has been one of the biggest knocks on his physique. So it's a great time for some of these IFBB pros out there who are actively competing, since the prize money is constantly going up every single year. So only a few shows left to qualify for this year's Miss Olympia. So James isn't looking to compete this year, although originally that was his plan, to qualify for this year's Miss Olympia and get back to the Olympia stage. Because James was one of those guys who took the entire 2023 off in order to get bigger. And he was pretty damn impressive at this year's Arnold, especially in Columbus, and placing 5th behind John Del Rosa. That was a huge accomplishment. So if it wasn't for his knee injury, he might have done some other shows after this year's Arnold as well. But right now it is all about getting bigger, putting on more muscle, and making those much needed improvements.
But he's just so chill, and I'm chill, and I don't want to be like too regimented, man. You know me, I'm bad. That's why I said I'm uncoachable, because it's not as easy as someone just writing a list of what to do and telling me, because my brain spins too much.
Yeah.
Are you going anywhere to Spain to train with him again, or are you going
think
home?
so. I think so. I gotta go home right now. I need to regroup, man. I had a grueling few weeks out there.
Some new pictures of Rubiel Mosquera, aka Naxila, came out today. So he is in Spain right now, right to compete in Italy, where he is going to be facing a top 6 Olympian, Hunter Labrada. So Chris Cormier confirmed on the Menace podcast that he won't be out there in Spain with Rubiel, training him for this one as well. So Rubiel is out there all by himself, and the environment in Spain that isn't even close to what he had at the Occident Gym in Kuwait, where he was doing nothing but eating, sleeping and training for more than 12 plus weeks. Plus, he was training with a guy like Breon Ansley, who is a real workhorse, and a guy who never shies away from work. Plus the fact that Chris Cormier himself was there, that must have been extra motivation for Rubiel. So Rubiel was better in Prague, condition-wise, than he was in Dubai a few weeks ago. And as per Chris Cormier, it had everything to do with him loading sodium and water, so that he doesn't cramp up.
He's better than what he showed, that's for sure. And I think I was just telling him before you came on, with the cramping and stuff, you can't think you're gonna hold the carbs in the muscle and not feel low. You keep adding sodium and water, lead up even backstage, sodium and water.
Yeah,
And that's why he wasn't at his best. So if that was really the real issue, then 5 more weeks, that is plenty of time for him to dial it in and shock the world in Italy. But then again, how strong is Rubiel mentally? Will he use this loss as a motivation to get even better? Or is he gonna eat something that's not on his diet because there is nobody out there looking over him? So that, I believe, is gonna be the deciding factor on how he does in Italy, how he shows up in 5 weeks' time. Personally, I don't think he's at a point right now where he can beat a top Olympian like Hunter Labrada. Actually, an improved version of Hunter. But let's just hope that he brings a much better package in Italy compared to what we saw in Dubai. So we had such a deep lineup for classic physique in Tampa Pro. I want to talk about the 3rd place finisher, Dankovia Anderson, aka Black Panther, because he looked so great in that show, and not being able to place at the top over the last few contests that he has done. That's giving him second thoughts about staying in classic and switching to 212 class. So he has done the Olympia multiple times already, and he has all the tools to be called classic. Deep abs, thick and dense chest, a very small waist, that gives him a great V-taper. But there is just so much talent getting into classic physique, especially in the last few years. It is so difficult to stand out. Just take a look at the winner of Tampa Pro, Justin, who beat 2 Olympians, and he got so much praise over the improvements that he was able to make in just 1 year. So for now, the plan for Black Panther is that, to do this upcoming Texas Pro, and just try and bring a package that is worthy of winning that show, and going back to the Olympia stage. But Gabriel, the guy who just placed 2nd in Tampa, is also doing Texas. So what do you guys think? Should Black Panther stay in classic, or switch over to 212, in case Texas doesn't go his way? So Vlad did 2 shows this year in a span of just a few weeks. So not only the results of both these shows, they turned out to be really good for him. He placed 2nd in Chicago and 4th in Tampa. Now that 4th place in Tampa, that must have been a hard pill to swallow, because he was aiming for the win here, and also the Olympia qualification for 2024. But I have to say, comparing him to how he plays last year, especially at Portugal Pro, which had a much weaker lineup than this one, this was such a positive result for Vlad. And lastly, he was able to show the bodybuilding world that he isn't an Instagram bodybuilder, he is the real deal. I think we can all agree, he is a real freak of nature, and his ability to come in shredded, that is second to none. So with the caption that Vlad just posted under his recent post, he isn't done with the season just yet. The Texas Pro list is gonna be out very soon, but that is a show that Vlad just cannot win, because we have a guy like Andrew Jagden there. Still, what a great year he had, considering he was in the hospital with a torn tricep in February, and he was able to not only come back, but present his career's best look in Chicago this year. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.